Let me be direct. If your company's global strategy for India was written before this year, well, it might already be obsolete. There's a profound shift underway, one that's turning a familiar market into an entirely new frontier for innovation and real value.
So I want to ask you a question, a really direct question about your global strategy. Is your India strategy built for 2004 or for 2047? I ask because the playbook that defined the last 20 years of global investment in India, it's being completely torn up and rewritten as we speak.
For years, the strategy was so clear, wasn't it? Leverage India's massive talent pool for cost-effective execution. It was a model built on labor arbitrage. And look, for a long time, it worked. It delivered significant value.
But that playbook, it's history. It's done. Honestly, continuing to view India solely through that old lens of cost saving isn't just outdated, it's a strategic liability that is absolutely going to leave your company behind.
So, let's dive into the powerful new reality that's reshaping India's future. We're talking about a national ambition, a strategic roadmap that completely changes the value proposition for global businesses like yours.
At the very heart of this transformation is a national strategy called Viksit Bharat at 2047. Now, this isn't just some political slogan. Think of it as a detailed economic roadmap, meticulously designed to elevate India to a developed nation by its 100th anniversary. It's all about focusing on high-value industries, innovation, and sustainable growth.
And the scale of this ambition is, well, it's staggering. We're talking about a vision for a $30 trillion economy. To put that into perspective for you, that's larger than the entire economy of the European Union today. This isn't just growth, it's a complete reordering of the global economic landscape.
And for your business, this massive vision is built on three really crucial pillars. First, unprecedented scale, which is creating a massive new consumer market. Second, a national push for advanced capability. Building a world-class ecosystem for R&D and deep tech. And third, inclusive growth, which is creating these amazing new talent hubs in emerging cities, way beyond the traditional metros.
Okay, so how does this grand vision actually translate into action on the ground? Well, it's creating this incredible new competitive landscape within India itself, as different states now compete aggressively for high-value investment. And this is where that national strategy directly impacts your bottom line.
India's states are basically in a race to attract investment, especially for what we call Global Capability Centers, or GCCs. These are the hubs that handle the really high-value functions, like R&D, data analytics, product engineering. And state policies now go way beyond just simple tax breaks. We're seeing payroll subsidies, CapEx support, even grants for patent filing. It's creating a hugely favorable environment for innovation.
What's really fascinating here is how states are starting to specialize. Take Gujarat, for example. It's building these dense financial and tech clusters in hubs like GIFT City, creating a perfect ecosystem for fintech and global finance. But then you have a state like Madhya Pradesh, which is tailoring its policies specifically to attract R&D and IP-heavy industries. This means you can actually pick a location that is strategically aligned with your specific business goals.
So what does this all look like in practice? Let's walk through a quick case study that really brings this shift to life.
The challenge was one many of you probably face. A global healthcare firm. They wanted to centralize all of their high-value R&D and data analytics for the entire Asia-Pacific region. They needed top talent, they needed speed, and of course, they needed it to be cost-effective. So instead of going to a traditional metro, like Mumbai or Bangalore, they made a really strategic choice. They decided to set up in what's called a Tier 2 city, an emerging urban center with a growing talent pool and much lower operating costs. They chose a city in Madhya Pradesh, specifically to leverage that state's targeted incentives for R&D and talent development. The financial outcome? It was huge. Their total cost of ownership was 35 to 40% lower than a comparable setup in a major metro. Now, that's not just an operational saving, that's a real strategic advantage that you can then reinvest right back into innovation and growth.
But here's the real story. It isn't just about the cost. Within just 24 months, that center filed 2 international patents, and they took full ownership of a product that was previously managed from their global headquarters. That is the shift we're talking about. It's the move from simple execution to driving real innovation, from being a cost center to becoming a true value creator.
Now, navigating this complex, fast-moving landscape, it requires more than just reading headlines. It demands specialized, on-the-ground insight.
And to help you navigate all of this, we've created India Inside. It's a series of in-depth conversations brought to you by the CoreBridge GCC desk, and it's designed specifically for senior leaders like you who need to understand India's evolving GCC ecosystem.
And our promise to you is simple. We decode how this ecosystem actually works, the policies, the talent, the real-world strategies that your peers are using to get ahead. We're here to translate all that complexity into clear, actionable insight, so you can make decisions with confidence.
You know, we truly believe that in this new era of global business, understanding this transformation, it's not just some intellectual exercise, it's a competitive necessity. So to dive deeper into these topics, I want to invite you to join the conversation. You can find India Inside, the GCC Advantage on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.
Really, the question is no longer if you should have a sophisticated India strategy, but how you're going to build one. Because getting India right, well, it's no longer an option. It's your next global advantage.
Join us as we explore exactly where global business meets India's new capability frontier.